Hi, this is Robert from Max Guitar Store. Today I want to talk to you about the new true historic Gibson line. These are, for instance, these guitars. This is the Collector's Choice number 24, Charles Daughtry, or Nicky as they call it. We have 4 of these guitars, 2 are pre-sold already. But I couldn't believe my eyes when these came in because they're so close to the original guitar that it's actually painful. When this line first was introduced to me in early 2015, I thought these prices are way too high, they're never going to sell. But when I saw actually what the differences are and how they make these guitars now, this is so much closer to the original than it was ever before. So I think these prices are really justified, especially when you play one of these and look closely at one of these, especially for instance the pickups, the binding, the yellowing, the rounding off of the fingerboard, the thinner lacquer, the weight of the guitar, everything is very, very close to the original, and they actually do sound better. And I have somewhat of an experience with these guitars because I own one of the original Collector's Choice guitars, so I can actually A/B these guitars, and it is very clear that they are closer than ever before to the originals. So we can divide the differences in 2 categories. One, the ones that influence the sound, and the ones that are cosmetic. Okay, so the most important ones are the ones that influence the sound, of course, and one of the, or I think the most important, is the use of hot hide glue. Hot hide glue is an animal glue, so made of hide and bones and that sort of stuff. And it's very difficult to work with because it sets when it cools down. So you have to heat up the glue before you work with it. Then attach the neck to the, for instance, the neck to the body at a certain time. If you wait too long, it sort of hardens and you can't get the neck loose very easily. So it's a very meticulous job, but the sound is much better. So they use this hot hide glue instead of the Tide Bond. It's a sort of a chemical glue, which also works fine, but it doesn't sound the same. And most important, it's not the same as what they use in the 50s. So hot hide glue is one. Thinner lacquer. They have an even thinner lacquer than they used before. It's a slightly different formula. And of course, they have a different way of carving the top and carving the neck. It's a sort of what they call a double carve. I'm not sure how much of an influence is that on the sound, but you can say that the total guitar, as proven by when you just play it, sounds a lot more open, I would say, a lot more distinctive with deeper tones. And when I compare it to an original 59 or a 60, you can say it comes actually very, very close. Of course, 10,000 euro for a guitar like this is a lot of money when you compare it to a regular Les Paul. But when you compare it to an original, and it's actually very close to the original, as I've said numerous times already, it's actually a steal. So an original would cost 150 to 250,000 euro. This is 10,000 euro, and you cannot get any closer. So the second group of changes or differences is, for instance, the deeper scraping line of the binding, the more rounded off binding, neck binding, the more accurate color of the back, and of course also the yellowing of the binding, the position of the knobs versus the studs of the tailpiece. Of course the way the pickup covers look, they are much more accurate. They are not so perfect as the normal machined covers. The plastics are redesigned, or they actually reformulated. They went back to the original formula of the plastic, and this is what they use. So this is exactly the same plastic as they used on the 50s. Of course, it doesn't really apply, or it doesn't really affect the sound so much, but still it's nice to have this small touch. The back, you can see the color of a guitar like this is different. It's a little bit darker than the series before in 2013 and 14. Then there are of course very small differences, like a thinner headstock veneer. You can actually see that, but it does bring the guitar again closer to the original. So we're going to play this guitar for you to get an impression of the sound, but you can take my word for it that they are really something else. So I was surprised, and I hope you will be surprised when you try one of them. So if you have any interest in one of these guitars, just give me a ring or send me an email. Thank you.